Hi, everybody. We're back with Career Conversations with Crystal
Caitlin.
and Caitlin. So, thank you all for joining in on our first episode where we just introduced ourselves and what we're going to be discussing throughout our episodes. So, today we're going to discuss what makes a resume stand out. So, she has a lot of great experience and things to talk about, and I do too. So, let's get started.
Yeah, so following our last video, we asked if you guys had anything specific that you wanted to address. And I think a big one for everybody is always the cover letter debate. So I think that's a never ending debate. But personally, as a recruiter, I can tell you that I rarely look at cover letters. And when I do, I probably spend less time than I do looking at resumes at a cover letter because usually I'll get the information I need on the phone from somebody. So I don't know about you, Crystal, like what do you think about the importance of cover letters in your job?
So, in my experience in this particular area, I know that a lot of federal jobs don't require cover letters unless you're looking for something in the State Department where they really want to know what why do you want to be a part of the State Department? Why do you want to travel? Your experience in this and things of that nature. But I mean, I think cover letters are pretty important if you need to do some more explaining, especially if you're doing like the career transitioning, like we were talking about last time. I think that's where you need to have it.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
pretty much it.
And I mean, I think for like bigger companies, like when I was applying to Amazon, I used the cover letter to kind of stand out a little bit more because, Amazon's big on like their 14 principles. So I think being creative in your cover letter, that kind of helps, in being able to get your foot in the door and get the recruiters or hiring managers' attention. But a lot of times when you're applying online, the whole point is you're making those networking connections. So that's what I tell to so it's more important to have a connection at the company than have to worry about, making a cover letter for each time you apply. And I think a lot of the companies are, unless they're requiring it. I read an article today. I think that in 2021 they're going to be starting to do away more and more because I'm personally job seeking right now, and I'm seeing it less and less as a requirement, and there's more of like optional. And so I say my rule of thumb is it's like car insurance. It's nice to have one on standby if it is required by the company in your application, but otherwise it's not important to have to every single time go in, re-edit your cover letter for each company that you're applying to. That's what I would say. Save yourself the hassle and spend that time re-editing or putting those keywords in your resume instead.
Yeah, so I think you said something key. Always have one ready to tailor. A lot of us don't think about cover letters when we're going to apply for jobs until we need it, like you said.
Yep.
So just having one in your pocket, especially, go to a resume writer if you don't know how to formulate a cover letter properly. That's where I see, a lot of people come to me without cover letters, to be quite honest. So I'm drafting it from scratch majority of the times. I don't know about you, but
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And a big one, I see a lot of times too, is that I saw also read on the article is they said that if you don't have a name for who you're directing it to, then not to write a cover letter, which I don't think, which I don't agree with because, how are you, I mean, unless a lot of times it's hard to find names sometimes, when you're applying to big companies. So, but yeah, that was kind of an interesting take that I saw on that one.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting because most of the time, like you say, you're applying through an app.
Right, an application. Yeah, exactly.
Like they give you Miss Smith's name.
Right. So yeah, but
and another thing that we wanted to talk about was what to put in that 1/3 of your resume. So it's really important to put your contact information. How else will people get in contact with you if they don't have that? And something else I want to add is that it's really important to add your LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Like we talked about last time, LinkedIn is where it's at where it comes to these jobs. Like recruiters are looking at that LinkedIn. So
Yes,
that's a
ma'am.
big form of communication, not just your email, but it's really easy to go put that LinkedIn address up there and look you up and see more about you. So I would really suggest adding that in there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I was just gonna say, something that somebody pointed out was if you have your contact information in your header, when you parse that into the ATS, that doesn't come up. So make sure you actually have it on your document, not in the header. So
Let's talk
that
about
was a
what
good.
an ATS is. A lot of people don't know what a
Oh yeah,
ATS is.
applicant tracking system, right?
Yeah,
That'll
it's
be a
not,
whole nother episode, I think.
that's like a whole nother episode too. But it's just how your resume looks when an employer uses this particular system, the ATS, to get all your information. So it's not taking into account those text boxes. That's why people say don't use text boxes or graphics.
Hmm.
Well, not to not use it, but just be careful because if that's important information that's going in those text boxes, most likely people aren't going to see it, and
Right,
you don't want to chance that type of stuff. I mean, but you can
definitely.
have it in there.
Right. Well, that brings us to our next point of like graphics and things like
Yeah.
that. So, you can put in like I like to do for like executive clients, like fancy things in text boxes or add a graphic or two, which is fine. If it, like you said, if it's not important information that's like a skill or a key word that definitely wants to be highlighted on the resume. So it's kind of knowing like what that's all, differentiating what's important and what's not. So or just to be safe, let the resume writer worry about that and stick to the simple, format if you're just starting out, I would say.
Yeah, and then it also depends on industry. So maybe you're into, like you said, you're executives. Maybe theater.
Mm,
Maybe I don't know, arts or something like that. So you could
right.
put a little thing. I mean, it doesn't hurt your
Marketing,
resume.
that's always a big
Yeah,
one.
marketing. It doesn't hurt your resume at all to add those graphics in. Just make
Right.
sure that you know that when it goes through the ATS system, it's probably not going to be seen.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Very true.
Um, and then also just bolding. Well, that goes down the resume. So yeah, the 1/3 of the resume you need. Oh, education if you're a recent grad.
Yep.
It
That's a good
should
one.
be at the top of your resume. I see a lot of people putting their education at the bottom and they graduated 2020. Um,
Mm,
that's a big no-no because a lot of the jobs that you're applying to, most likely you've been in school for a very, very long time. And trust me, I've dealt with this where all you have is that, school experience or research experience,
right.
research labs. So you want to show them like, hey, I just graduated. However, this is what I can bring to your company as a recent.
Mm. Yes, definitely. And I would also say a summary, kind of like a 3 sentence summary of, to sum up, okay, so what is in the job description that are like the top 3 things that they're looking for and, that I can elaborate on a little bit more. And then I always do not put an objective statement. That's like my pet peeve, I would say, on the resume, because we know your objective is looking for a job. So, or to get a
Yeah.
job. So but yeah, so summary is pretty important so we can kind of get a quick, skim of what's to come on your resume, I would say.
Really
And also
good.
titles for your next positions that you're looking for. So say right now you're like a marketing assistant and you want to become a marketing coordinator. So I always like to put titles, and that also helps for me if I'm looking, in at my applications that come up and I see like an admin or a teacher, and then I see somebody who has a title for a marketing coordinator for my marketing position. It's just quicker for me to skim through and be able to be like, oh, okay, so they're marketing looking for a marketing position. You know what I mean? So it kind of helps me when I'm doing my quick skim of the resumes.
Yeah. And that also goes to, if you're transferring skills from something that you weren't doing before. So you put those keywords into the professional summary and
Mm-hmm.
the recruiter will pick it up and the ATS system will too. So
definitely.
that's good. I guess we could get down to the work experience
Mm-hmm.
part. So what can make you stand out? So I don't know about you, but I use things such as the who method or car method
Yep. Yep.
to make people stand out in their context.
Mm-hmm.
So what the who method is, it stands for what you did, how you did it, and the outcome of what you did.
Uh-huh.
So, and then also with you using action verbs such as, drafted, coordinated.
Yep.
In combination, you're going to see a major difference in your experience, in your accomplishments, how you're
Mm-hmm.
actually formalizing those sentences. You're going to
Right.
see a huge difference.
Yeah. And another thing I see is a lot of people use the same action words for, a lot of their like bullet points. So like or managed and like multiple times. So make sure you're kind of like, mixing those up a little bit. And then also even if say you just came out of college and you don't have that percentages and numbers and things like that, you can still, if you had an internship or if you worked on projects, like contributed this many hours to school projects, like things, if you're an admin, filed or helped this many people come through with like things like that. It's really about like how you can put together like, like you said, like your accomplishments, and it can be hard. So a lot of times, like I say sometimes to my clients is talk to your significant others or your friends, your family, people that know you best, and they are really the ones that can help you kind of get your mind rolling about things that you've accomplished, because obviously you talk to them the most. So that's my advice on
And that
that.
also goes into personal branding. Like you really want to brand yourself throughout your bullets. You don't
Mm,
need a billion bullets to just
yes.
say that you're good for this job. And I think that's why the who method is so, or methods of that nature are so effective, because it's like you're putting three sentences in one.
Right.
Um, but yeah, just using that, I think you guys will see
Yeah,
a huge difference.
for sure.
Um,
And then just be careful not to get too wordy, make sure you're kind of just getting like, just like you said, just the what, the how, and then add, what you contributed, and kind of keep it short. So when we're looking through, we can clearly see what you've done and move on.
so as a recruiter, would you rather see someone list out their duties or what they accomplished in a job?
Oh, definitely they're what they accomplish, because, anybody can I have a funny story. I've literally went to somebody's resume before and knew for a fact that they copied the duties from their job description, because they even included like the job description number that they copied it from on their resume. And I was just like, okay, well, and so I mean, I've been
It's
guilty of it
obvious.
too, because when and especially when that's what you think, when okay, well, this is the job description, these are the things that I've done, but
I mean,
that's
I'm guilty of
clearly,
that. when I
yeah,
first,
yeah, because exactly,
when
and
I first
so
got out of school, I'm like, way
right,
to
right.
go.
And so now what I tell my clients that start new jobs and things like that is what they told me at Amazon was create an add a girl sheet. So basically like all the projects that I started working on, all of the things that I started like contributing to, like when I started training new people, like how many people did I train? Like what did I train them on? Like, how effective was it and things like that. So then you're prepared. So if something happens like COVID and you have your add a girl or add a boy sheet that has all your accomplished or your project, then it's so much easier for you to be able to, put that to your resume. And you can still use both. You can still use your job description, but you still want to show those results on what you did after after the job.
Yeah, definitely. And then also, this may seem like a very simple tip, but let's not use personal pronouns in
Oh,
your
yes.
bullets. Like, I
Yes.
achieved this. Uh, no, that I think a recruiter will look at that and kind of, I don't
It's
know,
yeah.
kind
It's more, I think
informal.
I see it as, yeah, exactly, informal and like kind of elementary. Like, they don't
Yeah,
understand the proper critique kind of thing. But I mean, when it comes to LinkedIn, then a lot of people are using so because it's a lot more personal and things like that, which that's another reason why LinkedIn is where it's at, because it's more fun and you can do those,
not too fun.
pronouns
So
and
you don't want to
yeah.
post pictures that you did
Right,
last
right. You don't
weekend or anything,
tell
but
your whole life story or anything, but you can still
not Facebook.
you can tell more than more about
Show
yourself
your
than you can on your
personality, I
resume.
think. Show a little
Definitely.
bit of your personality.
Right.
Yeah. So, what else did we talked about the personal branding element, which is something that I know one time I added a personal branding element into a lady's resume, and she was kind of shocked, to say the least,
Really.
because she wasn't expecting it. Like, she's like, "Is this acceptable?"
So what
And
do you mean by personal branding? Like, what did you add?
just like phrases. Um,
Oh, okay.
what we learn in our training, because we do take training and we are up to par with things, and sometimes we have to teach, well, like we're doing now, we're teaching, learning, but sometimes we actually have to teach our clients some of the new things that are coming out and some of the things that are acceptable, and personal
Right.
branding is one. I have a whole worksheet filling out
Mm,
words that really resonate with
right.
you.
And
And
I always ask like about quotes and stuff that they resonate with and things like that. I like to do that too.
yeah, and I think it's a great opportunity to still be professional, and then show your work ethic, or show something that really resonates with you.
Right, right. A little personality.
Yeah, because resumes can be kind of mundane.
Yes, trust me. Trust me. Especially if they go on for longer than, 3 to 4 pages. I'm like, okay, I don't need to see anymore. Mm.
Right. So there's a lot of great things you can do with your resume, and if you're stuck, like I said, we're here. Reach out to either one of us to help you get through that process, because I've been there when I was younger, just creating a resume and not knowing how you were going to separate yourself from the many
Mm.
people who are applying for these jobs. And around here, it's very competitive in the Washington, D.C. area, like I said in the previous video. So you will need that edge of
Right.
incorporating these types of things into your resume.
Right. And I think you being in government and me, having a background in oil and gas, they're both very competitive.
Yeah.
And, now more than ever, people are looking for that help and things like that. So, I tell my clients, like, you know what, take the stress away, like we were saying in the last video, and let us, help you. So you already know that it's taken care of. You have and like that's what I don't call them a resume and a LinkedIn. I call them your branding documents, because it really is. It's like, and it's, a cohesive brand that you're going to have, and you'll get results, right away when you start to put those out there. And it's hard to talk about yourself, especially putting it on paper. Like even myself writing my own resume, I do not enjoy it. So I go and I talk to friends and family who can help me to get out, my accomplishments and help me talk myself up too. So it's natural for everybody.
I call it the humble brag. And, it's not easy talking about yourself. So that's why it's so much easier for us to, even through the conversations that I have with my clients, I do, you know, phone conversations with
Little foot, yeah.
and like I said, I'm able to see who this person is and their determination to be in this
Right.
career field. And they don't see that in themselves. So that's where we come in to, make amazing documents for you guys.
That's right. Definitely.
But we talked a lot about standing out and things of that nature. And then our next episode will be about LinkedIn.
Yes, can't wait. It's my favorite.
That's both of our favorites. So you want to stand out on LinkedIn too. So please tune in on May the 6th.
May the 6th. All right. Can't
Please
wait to
tune
see you
in.
guys.
We'll talk about LinkedIn, and please, below you can provide any comments or any questions. We will address them. We love the questions. Thank you
Yes,
guys for tuning
definitely.
in.